Hey, what's up, guys? Have you ever, thought about the fact that, YouTube is, falling off, fucking crazy, dude? Like, I grew up on YouTube, I'm all at the ripe old age of, 18, unk status, but, I was, 2010s kid, 100% raised by the internet. I mean, I'm over here playing Team Fortress fucking 2 right now. That was a crazy surf by that engineer. What the hell was that? But out here playing Team Fortress 2 in the big 26. But the internet is largely what raised me. I was out here watching fucking TF2 Gmon machinimas and shit for hours, right? And that shit had people's heart and soul put into it. People really, really put in a great deal of hard effort in their lives every day to create content for fun. For fun, that's crazy. And you look at anybody who's popular at that time, largely they were just fun. They were doing it because it was funny, and they were enjoying their lives, and thus it was enjoyable to watch. But nowadays, YouTube is falling off, and not just because people aren't as funny anymore. People aren't doing it for fun, and there's no soul in it. It's fucking AI, actual slob, just thrown in every second, right? I don't know why I just walked into that sentry gun, but it's not just the fact that it's straight up just slop now. People who all want to make content just to make money, and nobody actually enjoying their life, enjoying their time, making content for fun, and putting their heart and soul into it, putting real effort in the videos. So people are churning out content in hopes of making a profit, making money, something like that. But it's also the nature of our attention spans, right? And obviously it's been done to death. Oh, short form content's killing us, but honestly, it's not even just that. It's the fact that long form content is getting harder to seek and get. That's part of why I'm here, why I'm talking, why I'm making this video. Is just because I'm the type of guy, when I'm cleaning my room, when I'm doing the dishes, when I'm fucking doing anything like that, I always need to have some long form content in the background of just somebody just yapping, right? Somebody yapping, somebody just doing something that I can just be half awake watching. Meanwhile, I just am busy doing something else. I want more long form content in the world of just somebody yapping, just somebody talking. It just feels good to hear another human being talk. But people don't make content like that anymore because people don't people don't make let's plays anymore. They don't. What is my ping? People don't make let's plays anymore. They don't make content where they're just putting themselves out there, where the person is the product, because there are just so many people out there making stuff, and there was for so long so many people making stuff. And as a direct result of there being so many people felt they couldn't sell themselves, and so they make trendy shit, just for trying to get an audience to try to get money. But that's not fun. That's not good. It's not healthy for us, or or for our culture. I feel internet culture is something that I view as very important to me, because again, I was pretty much raised by the internet, right? I was a yeah, internet raised kid through and through. And I'm not saying that in I don't know. I feel a lot of people say that, and they're really annoying the way they say that. They're oh, I was an internet kid, and then they're I don't know, show their 32 fucking FNAF OCs that were all just Freddy Fazbear but green. Um, right? I'm not trying to say shit like that, but I feel there was a real early 2000s internet culture. I don't know what is happening to my ping right now. Wowee. Um, that amount of lag has completely thrown me off of my critical thinking skills. Don't worry, I'll protect you. I'm terrible at this video game. Okay. There was a really strong, important internet culture like that I grew up in that I feel like is largely missing. You know, I watched I was a guy who watched a lot of like YouTube poops, Gmod machinimas, and shit like that. Like, again, things that were just like, admittedly, kind of internet raised, like a random equals funny type shit, but also like that was the content, like animation content. People poured their heart and souls into making that slop, and it was like controlled slop. I call it slop, but like I call it that, but it's really it took effort. Like what am I trying to say? Like it's not like important content from like a it's not like important content from like a critical or a literary perspective, and it's not necessarily what we should be like raising our kids on, because it's like educational or like whatever other reason you'd want to like raise somebody on something. But it's like, but it had a charm. It had a charm to it. It had a charm that I really feel I am attached to. It's why I've like in the past I've tried to make my ping might actually need to be studied for science. Like I'm trying really hard to play the video game right now. I might have to swap server. But like I know it wasn't necessarily, like educational content, not necessarily something that we should be striving for. But it's certainly like it had a charm to it. It had like a deep intrinsic effort that people put into it that you could tell like from the content itself. Like it was good. It was nice stuff. And now like that's not there anymore. And I feel like we people who are like who grew up in that way in that time, we kind of have like a bit of a responsibility here, where like the content that we consumed and valued while we were little, I feel like we kind of have some sort of like a responsibility to try to bring that content into reality, because like if we don't do it, who will, right? We're no longer the little kids who are consuming on the internet. We're going up into adulthood, and the content and culture that we were raised in is gonna die out in favor of like actual short form like slop, if we don't like do something about it. And like I know why the trends are going that way, right? Like people's attention spans naturally aren't like people's attention spans are like naturally not gonna favor things that take a while to grow. Um, or I guess like what I'm trying to say is like short form content is always like from like an addictive perspective. Short form content is always 100% of the time going to win out, right? And you can even see that in like people who seem to be making some slight attempt to be making a long form content or like a long form video, right? Where like and I guess what I'm trying to say specifically is podcasters, right? Like podcasters, and I guess you can make an argument for like modern long form content in general. Um, that generally people who make long form content in the modern day in the Big 26 do so with the ultimate goal of like farming clips that can then get thrown onto short form content, which will then hopefully draw people in. And I mean, maybe that's a good middle ground, but at the same time, the vast majority of people who know, like some people who make long form content, like the vast majority of people who see some like content creators or some podcasts are always going to be their short form like iterations. Sorry, I paused. I don't know what I just got deleted from the game. Um but like like you look at something. I guess what's coming to mind right now is like is it like worst friends podcast, best friends content? Sorry, not worst friends, like worst friends, bad friends, something like that, right? Um, they like you see their clips all the time. And they're even in, like in my feed sometimes, right? Now I try to like avoid short form content, but like overall, like you'll see their clips pretty much no matter what type of algorithm you have. Sorry, I'm trying to speak over this guy. But pretty much no matter the content algorithm that you have, you're going to be seeing these guys no matter what you really want to see out of your content. Okay, this is a very precarious situation. I might have to go demo man. But effectively, no matter like who you are, you're gonna be seeing these guys in your algorithm because of how viral these clips go. When you may not at all want to see this content, which I know, I'm kind of that way. I don't know. I don't really find that funny. They're just kind of like racism equal funny. I don't really mess with that's not really my brand of humor. That's not really my type of humor. I would never go out of my way to watch that, and I would also never go out of my way to like seek that podcast. And it nevertheless, the vast majority of people who and that's I'd say that's probably true for the vast majority of people who see their videos, because their videos get recommended to literally anybody, no matter what their taste in content are or is. And that just kind of shows like that's the way modern short form content is. It tries to get tiny clips. Sorry, modern long form content is. It tries to get like random clips that can like go viral or whatever, and there's not really actually being drawn to it for the nature of it as long form content. And I think that is a really bad shift. Like I don't think that is good for the quality of our content. I have gotten not a singular kill this entire game, and I don't really know why. This has been really terrible. But it's just not a good trend. And I think the culture that I kind of grew up in, the parasocial, I guess, like internet culture, is kind of going away. And obviously times change, and I'm not going to complain about people in generations following having their own internet culture that develops. There's some aspects of internet culture, like the way that it's developing, that I think are good. I like some people look at what they call brain rot, and they say like, oh, this is terrible. Oh, this is literal brain rot. But like literally, I grew up on fucking YouTube poops, man. I turned out just fucking fine. I'm going to fucking probably gonna be going to Rose Holman or Purdue next year. I really can't do anything this match. I really don't know I really don't know what to do here. Really, it seems like. But yeah, like I grew up on fucking YouTube poops and Gmod Machinimas. Like that, I think that was like honestly way worse fucking brain rot than any Italian like fucking bullshit that's coming out nowadays. Shoot. Sorry, I had to lock in there for a second, and I completely lost my train of thought. Yeah, I think it's a negative progression. I think our culture is kind of leaving about. And YouTube's kind of falling off. And it's not just the, cheese, that's disgusting. It's not just the... I'm so glad that I just got a rare high moment. I expect the number to go down. It's heavy. But really, I think, like, in addition to YouTube culture dying out, the app is dying as a direct result of the people who are running the app, right? Because it's not just... I feel like there are plenty of people out there, like myself, who are very much willing and wanting to see more, like, long-form content like this, and who want to really, like, preserve the old culture that really defined the app for the longest time. But those people are kind of like shunned away. Like the algorithm and the way that the app is being run is completely like trying to kill this out in favor of stuff that's like more profitable, It kind of started with TikTok being established. I fear, more like what was it originally? Musically. It started with Musically, short form becoming like short form scroll content becoming mainstream. There was obviously always Vine, but Vine had like a different charm. It had limitations on it that were meant to make it interesting the way it is. Like Vine, I would say is honestly the poetry of like Vine is the poetry of internet content, honestly. And honestly, I could go on a whole rant about that. And honestly, I think I'd rather do that than talk about like how short form content took over. But what the um but what was it saying about, like, you open the YouTube app nowadays, right? And what do you see? Do you see your homepage? You see your subscriptions. You see the people who you really you subscribe to. You want to see more of. You actively tell the app, yes, I want to see more of these people. I want to see more of this. Do you see them when you open your app? No. When you open the YouTube app, you're just immediately forced into watching shorts. They immediately throw you into shorts, regardless of whether you want that. It's not a setting you can change. You're forced into watching shorts, which are always slop. Like, shorts are always bad. I don't know if I can name like a single good YouTube shorts I've ever seen. Like a good YouTube short I've ever seen in my entire life. Every single YouTube short is bad. Every single YouTube short. Um, and even though I never want to watch YouTube shorts, there's not a singular moment in my life where I think I would benefit from watching a YouTube short. Truly, truly never. Truly never once have I clicked on the app and said, you know what, I am going to scroll on YouTube Shorts for 30 minutes. And yet what they do is they try to force you into that. Every time you open the app, you see shorts. I have told them multiple times, I say, hey, I press that little button on the side, the three dots, and I say, hey, stop recommending me shorts. I do that like every day. Every day I tell them, hey, do not recommend me shorts anymore. And they say, all right, I won't show you shorts anymore. And then they show me shorts like 30 seconds later. They are trying to force you to watch shorts because they want to ruin your attention spans, right? Because it's more profitable. They want, what the fuck was that ragdoll? They want you to watch their fucking stupid AI gooner slop ads. Like that's like that was kind of the point I was trying to get to when I was talking about like the app itself being ran in a horrible manner. Like that was the main object I was trying to get toward. Actual just disgusting goon slop that I truly could not despise more. Why is it that every time I open the YouTube app, because obviously I have ad blockers on my computer, but if I open the app on my phone, it's literal just like fucking Luna from fucking Hell of a Boss, like shaking her fucking oiled up AI titties in my fucking face. Like, I don't, like, I don't know, maybe it's targeted ads. I don't know what I would be telling, like, I don't know what about me would be implying to the algorithm that's what I want to see. But apparently it is, right? Apparently they think that what I want to see is fucking AI oiled up Fox girls. But the fact that they let those like ads exist, right? And then people get like horribly fucked, by the algorithm, the way that like the way the monetization works, it's obviously it's most profitable for YouTube to try to limit profit, to remove, what am I trying to say? If you don't give money to creators, that is inherently more profitable for YouTube because it's more money that YouTube gets that they don't have to give to anybody else, right? So obviously they have a monetary incentive to not give creators money for their videos. And so they always have incredibly predatory and horrible, like, monetary policies just to, like, fuck over their creators. And it's completely proven that they do not care about like kids, or they're not like, oh, your content's not kid friendly, we gotta like do this and such restrictions, because They don't care about the kids. Like, there's no reason why I should be opening the app and seeing fucking Luna, the fucking hellhounds, jiggly fucking tits. Like, right? Like, that's ridiculous. In fact, they actually, like, they asked me for age verification, right? Which is so funny because I've had my account for, like, actually so long, and I don't know what about, like, me watching, like politics, podcasts and shit is going to be, like, implying that I am a child. But anyway, the fact that they would ask me for age verification and then they're showing me actual ads for porn just goes to show, like, no, they never once and never in a million years gave a singular shit about what content children are seeing. They don't care, right? They don't care. They care about what they can profit off of. And it's ridiculously, like, there's so much hypocrisy in saying that, oh, we're age restricting your video because you have too many cuss words. It's not good for the kids. Man, that's very disappointing. I really thought they'd eventually get that guy. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And they're actively trying to kill their platform. Like, they're trying to remove the content people actually want to see, and in favor, they just try to do what's most profitable. And what's profitable is never what's good, right? Like, that's just kind of how the world works. I mean, I can make it into a broader statement of, pardon me. I sincerely apologize. Okay. I don't know what just happened. But, like, I can make it, a broader statement about, like, class opposition and shit, and about how, like, literally nothing that ever benefits any billionaire will ever benefit you. Like, I'm so sorry. Literally nothing. No technological innovation, no technological innovation, no system, no anything is going to benefit both you and fucking the actual child-eating fucking billionaires, okay? Nothing is ever going to benefit both of you. It's only ever one of you. That was an incredibly unfortunate way to die. But, like, it will never, because it's directly opposed. What you want. What benefits you directly is working as little as possible for as much pay as possible and paying as little for any goods as possible. That's what benefits you. That's what you want. What do the billionaires want? They want you to work as much as possible, for as long as possible, for as little pay as possible, and to make, and for everything to cost as much as possible. There is no system in which both of those interests are favored, and it works well. Directly and clearly, there is nothing that benefits you and the billionaire. Okay? You need to direct all of your attention toward fighting for your interests. Because I'm telling you right now, every single billionaire, every single millionaire, every single person in power, every politician, they're all fighting to benefit those very interests of, like, the very interests that I just said, of making you work as long as possible for as little money as possible, with as little benefits, with as little pay, everything costing as much as possible. Those are directly what every single billionaire, every single person in power, like every politician, everyone, that's what they all want from you. That's what they all want for the world. And we, as a society, as a collective, need to fight against that. Otherwise, it's a one-sided war, right? It's a one-sided war, a one-sided fight that we're never going to win if we're not fighting. If we're not actively putting in the effort. Oh, I forgot there's a thing there. What? Okay, whoa, ping, whoa! Crazy ping. But I can't even swap weapons. But yeah, if it's a one-sided war, we're never going to win, right? If it's a one-sided war, we'll never win. So we, as a people, as a class, need to be putting in the effort, need to be putting in the work, to fight for ourselves, fight for our people, fight for our children, and make a good society. Anyway, Vine is the poetry of the internet culture, right? Because I mean, think about it like this, right? What defines, let's say the most famous type of poetry. What defines a sonnet, right? Like, what defines a sonnet to you, right? Well, I mean, not to you, but what defines like what actually does factually define a sonnet? Oh, my Wi-Fi might need to be studied for science. Okay, but like, what actually defines a sonnet? Right, you have to have 15 lines. You have to express some very important emotion. If you're an English or a Shakespearean sonnet, it's got to be A B C D C D E F G G, something like that. And then if you're like a Petrarchan sonnet, it's like A B B A Volta at the eighth line, whatever. Right, like stuff like that, right? And this is all unimportant, but excuse me, and iambic pentameter, all that. But excuse me, but what is important is not the specific restrictions that is commonly put on poetry, but the nature of those restrictions, right? Poetry in general, even if not just sonnets, is known for its restrictions, right? We know poetry because of its restrictions. Now, freeform poetry, is a lot more modern. We, as a society, are kind of favoring more freeform poetry as time goes on, with less and less restrictions and less following of previous conventions. But it still stands that a lot of poetry kind of becomes meaningful as an inherent result of its restrictions. If you see a poem that manages to express a truly beautiful message, and manages to express a truly beautiful message in a truly beautiful way, and it does so as a sonnet, so it does so in 15 lines with an iambic pentameter and a rhyme scheme, that is a reflection of a skilled poet, as they were able to handle all those restrictions and yet nevertheless still make something very meaningful. Like, that is a reflection of skill, and that honestly gives the poem more merit, more value. It gives the poem more merit and more value directly as a result of being difficult to write. Like, it has restrictions that makes it difficult. That's what makes it meaningful. Think about in Minecraft or something, right? Inherently, if you make a mega base in creative, you make this, you're in creative and you spend hours upon hours upon hours making this beautiful mansion, beautiful landscape, all with your own hands, that's still quite meaningful. What if you had world edit, right? Well, if you had world edit, you can place a lot bigger stuff a lot easier. You can use brushes, all these other tools. Now, that doesn't that it can still be an incredibly what am I looking for? It can still be an incredibly meaningful and valuable, merit worthy piece of art or Minecraft build in this example, even if you had world edit, right? But inherently, the extra restrictions that you put on yourself by building it block by block, by building it by your own hands, that does inherently make it more valuable as a work of art. And I originally said creative because I was going to use that as the less restrictive example, where if you build this massive mega base in landscape and survival, you had to collect all those things yourself. The extra work that you put into it in that way makes it more meaningful, right? We can see that in art, in everything in general, work inherently gives things value, right? I guess you could say the labor hours stored within a commodity or work of art is inherently what gives it its societal value. Very interesting. I wonder if there was a certain 1800s philosopher who would have touched on those things. But intrinsically, work and art is what gives the art its meaning. And so the more restrictions you put on yourself, the more you limit yourself in the means by which you have to create that art, the more like meaningful that art becomes. And that's why I say Vine is like the poetry of internet culture, because the 7-second limit is very similar to something like a 15 line limit in a Sonic, right? And the usage of like Vine sound effects could honestly be seen as similar to like a meter. Obviously, it's not a good one-to-one comparison there, but you can see where I'm coming from, where it's like these things give it its general feel and vibe. Where like you have things that give it its general feel and vibe that stick between different ones. Sorry, I've been playing terribly. I've just been itching my nose. I've been playing like one-handed. My nose is so itchy right now. But inherently, you put extra restrictions on yourself, and by doing so, as a direct result, what you make becomes more meaningful. And it also maintains a similar vibe as a result of those restrictions and the shortness, like, coming together to make it seem like every single one seem incredibly unique, despite having the same restrictions. So yeah, I think, yeah, Vine is honestly quite a lot like poetry. And even if like people who are making Vines weren't exactly trying to view it in order to make a message, like how many people will treat poetry. I'm not claiming that like whatever what's his name? Like, I'm not gonna argue that like popular Vine creators. I don't know why I couldn't name one off the top of my head. King Bach. There we go. Or is that how you pronounce his name? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not gonna argue that they were trying to put in the same fucking work as Shakespeare, and that they were like doing the exact same thing. But I am arguing that the art forms in their relation to art as a whole are intrinsically very similar. Like how they relate to the rest of art and the wider culture that they exist in. I love how good my aim is as Scout. There we go. Yeah, Vine's a lot like poetry. And again, that's why I kind of feel like a lot of things are being lost in internet culture. Because just as, even though, like, it's been like 500 years, sonnets are starting to fall out of public eye, but, like, it took 500 years. Like, people love this shit, right? And I feel like if Vine were still around, even if it wasn't as popular as it was in like 2012 or 2013 or whatever, right? It like Vine would still have a significant usage in the modern day, and I feel like the fact that it's not around is just a showing that the internet is just such an interesting place, and an interesting place for culture to develop. I'm sad Vine is gone. Let's just say that. Let's just say that Vine is gone, and it was gone before its time. And people would still view it as an art form today, and perhaps people can make something meaningful with it, like poetry, where they make something meaningful with the restrictions, or they could just play around with the restrictions and have fun. But regardless, those restrictions existing is what set Vine apart. Like, the restrictions being as restrictive as they were is inherently what made Vines so like valuable, and what set them so far apart from something like we see now with like TikTok or music or whoa, that's some interesting internet right there. How joyous. And my Team Fortress 2 is now in the wrong audio channel. Give me just 1 second. We should get Vine back. We should get Vine back so that we can make meaningful content, meaningful short form content with restrictions. Because again, what sets this apart from like Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts or TikTok or something like that is that they have like restrictions, sure. Like you have to be kind of short, but you don't have to be really short. Like most people, if they want to make something short form, they're gonna be able to on these systems, right? It's just like saying short form content. It's like saying writing as a whole, as a genre, right? Where it's like no matter what, you can probably write a book about what you want. You know, to varying degrees, right? It's going to take skill to write that book. But inherently, the system of, oh yeah, write a book, that system is going to let you tell any story you want. And poetry acting as a subgenre within the larger concept of writing leads to poetry being more meaningful as a result of the contrast in having those restrictions. But with short form content, there now no longer exists this like niche of what there's no longer this niche of things that have a restriction on them and then have to work around that. There's no artistic culture that has to develop as a result of those restrictions. That increased freedom leads to less meaning and less like it leads to less meaning and less what word am I trying to say here? Less charm. Like less culture, less meaning, less charm, less effort. I think that's terrible. I think like low effort content, AI, short form content in general taking over media is such a crime, to our people. Very, very tragic. And I don't think it's like it would be that hard to combat. Like like obviously if we lived in a society that was dictated by us, right? If we lived in a society that was made to support our needs, our wants, if we lived in a society where the world, or let's just say the internet in this specific case, was reflectant of the needs, wants, and desires of the people, then that would be like it would be pretty easy to get like fucking AI slop out out of the fucking public consciousness, right? It would not be that difficult to get this stuff off of everything, or at the very least to have these alternative channels where we can insert. Is this the guy I know? No, okay. I know a guy named insert username. But it'd be pretty easy to, like, at the very least, have channels in which people can truly explore and enjoy, like, what they want. Right? Like, we could have a Vine in addition to our current culture if and only if we controlled the internet. But we don't, we don't. We don't. It's fucking dudes who eat babies in their fucking private millionaire islands. Which is pretty flippin' sweet, if you ask me. Pretty flippin' sweet. I think that's pretty cool. And I could rant about that for like 17 fucking hours. But I really love that nobody has, I do love that no that no violence has spurred as a result of hearing that our leaders are satanic pedophiles. I really do love that nobody was roused to action by that. Anyway. I'm playing the Big Fortress right now. I just ate that entire sticky trap because I thought the medic was gonna Uber me, but I just ate it anyway. Whoa! Get me back up, medic. No, medic, I'm not gone. No, medic, you're gonna Uber me again. Where'd you go? Medic! What do you guys think of Little Caesars? Sorry, I was trying to think of something a little more lighthearted to touch on over, billionaires eating babies. Um, but yeah, what do you guys think of Little Caesars? Right, I'm seeing Little Caesars go a little viral lately, because how good it is, and I think that is absolutely true. You know, you can figure out a lot about a person based on their opinions on Little Caesars. All right. Ask anybody, anybody who you view as important to you and your life, right? Like your spouse, your you know, your spouse, your best friend, your fucking Wi-Fi router. What just happened to me? Any person who is important to you in your life, who you want to make sure that you truly know, and truly know is morally worthy. You need to understand what is their relation with Little Caesars. What do they think about Little Caesars? Because listen, there is not a singular person who is morally well who does not view Little Caesars as the greatest thing ever crafted by man. Okay? Little Caesars, excuse me, I would fucking, actually, me personally, I would probably personally skin alive every CEO known to man, right? There's not a singular good company that exists, not a singular good company that could ever exist, right? By their very nature of being a company, right? Other than Little Caesars. Little Caesars is the one exception. It is the one singular good company that exists because they are awesome, okay? They're amazing. Like, listen, fucking the CEO of Little Caesars out here, like, literally funding Rosa Parks, like, helping her pay off her rent. Meanwhile, she was, like, after I think, like, she got fired from her job or something. I actually don't remember the exact situation. But what matters is that Little Caesars was doing that, okay? Listen, Little Caesars was, a banger. Okay? Like, honestly, people will shit on their pizza so much. They'll say, oh, Little Caesars, oh, that's trash pizza. It tastes like cardboard. And, like, I'll never agree with that. Little Caesars is fire. I don't care what any person says. Little Caesars is mad good, and I just ate that Crockett. Little Caesars is incredible. Truly, 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 indubitably, gloriously incredible. It is good pizza. A good company. It's truly amazing. Like, there's nothing bad you can say about Little Caesars. Every single aspect of Little Caesars is good. And yet it's so hated. Right? And that's why I said, like, you can figure out a lot about a person based on what they think about Little Caesars. Because how can you hate something that's objectively good in every way? How can you... Oh, wrong loadout. How can you hate something that is objectively perfect and glorious for every person, while being morally, like, well? You can't. Like, you can't. If you hate on Little Caesars, I hate on you. That was the least tough line ever recorded by man. He said a line so buns even his allies turned on him. Oh my goodness gracious, golly gee willikers, that was certainly one rocket of all time. Golly gee willikers. Alrighty. Yeah, Little Caesars is a banger. Diametric class opposition leads to everything sucking, and internet culture is falling apart. I don't know what else to say. I think that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this while you, like, folded your laundry or something.